Alright, so we're back after a couple days of long work hours, and my hand's a little less sore, still sore. I went to our state fair, so I have this little thing of what will look like almost invisible snacks. Oh no, it was gracefully eating. But I've got kind of a lazy day because I didn't want to. I have a lot of work tomorrow, and I don't want to overdo it today. So I went to work, and now I'm here to play a little more game, and hopefully I can complete this before the 25th because I have to leave for a couple weeks. As the crows are outside. Okay, so we got to Marianne, or Marion. I'm not quite sure because we can't trust Hannah to say names correctly, but we're gonna go with Marianne because that's what they've been calling her. Alright, so it's 7:15. The numbers are so little on the top of my screen, and I've got a bunch of updates happening on all my games apparently. Harvest Moon, Pokemon Home. The numbers are so little on the top of my screen, and they glare at me with such intensity that I can just hear their accusations. I'm late for a night out with the girls, yes, but I have a perfectly good excuse, jeez. Considering I didn't follow typical office hours, they really can't expect me to be able to just go as I please at 5:30 on the dot. The client is, first and foremost, my priority. I have to sit tight when my personal assistant, Chris, tells me we have a big one coming up and that I shouldn't miss this one. He knows a lot more on the who's who and what's what when it comes to these socialites, and I trust that judgment call. I really don't have time for rich people, their drama, and their politics. These sort who are born with a silver spoon in their mouth and who are used to wagging their silver tongues about. I let him handle the negotiating with them for the most part. Why else would I have hired him? But he told me I'd receive a message in about an hour ago.
If only he has the full shilling when it comes to the time.
I said that sounds weird, I'm sorry. What is with this hair right here? Not that hair, this hair. It's like super fluffy. And on my forehead. Come on, I have a social life too, you know, to an extent. Sort of. Pressing my head against the table, I try to stave off the oncoming headache when the notification for an email pops up. All I'm expecting is a, hey, this looks like a good project I found. Go send them as a design. Or something like that, really. That's how it often goes. You know, with these rich, jammy clients who's heard of me from their equally rich, jammy friends, I can't expect them to hire me right off the bat. Which is all well and good and reasonable. We figure out what they want, send them my portfolio, my drafts for their projects, my rates, and hope for the best. This is a big client, Marianne. I'll babysit Baruthiel for you. Just please take this one project. I promise this person is huge in Luxbourne. Mr. Parker, this is a formal request to secure the services of Marianne McCullough, hereinafter called the designer, as authorized by Hannah Wright. Thereafter called the client for interior design work at Ermengarde Mansion, Luxbourne, LX18 0RF, United Kingdom. The client hopes to have the designer there on the 21st of October, Friday, the time pending. But as I open the mail, I see that I've been requested by the client specifically. Well, I certainly didn't expect that, and it's pretty straightforward too. Anyone else would probably be excited. They'd be working with the Hannah Wright. She's just one of those rich socialites that everyone loves to talk about, no matter how hard I try to tune such nonsense out. It would have been enough for me to replay an affirmative to Chris and leave, but he has never pleaded for me to take a project before. We've worked with big personalities in the past, celebrities, bankers, and even a few politicians. My PA had been indifferent about those. So the question bounced about my skull before I spy one of the email attachments. A newspaper clipping from the Luxbourne Daily Business News section boasting the headline, Wright Enterprise donates £2.5 million to refugee. Why am I getting things when I sit down to play? Why does this always happen to me? Oh, and I never put my wash in the dryer. I should also do that when I give it up in a bit. Anyway. It certainly caused quite a stir back then. Apparently they had invited businessmen and socialites everywhere in the guise of it being some big business announcement.
$2.5 million and an expensive looking party to boot. These people sure know how to throw their money around.
Not that I should be so callous. They're going to do a lot of good and help a community of people with all those pounds. I, of all people, shouldn't criticize such acts whether they were for show or not. At the very least, I know they'll be able to pay my rates. With the headlines out of the way, however, I found myself staring at the picture that came along with the clipping. Because, wow. Here I am expecting a sour old woman in a blazer and skirt. But the woman that was plastered on the front page looks she belonged to the front page of the entertainment section, or even, if I'm to be crass, as the pin-up for a glamour. Okay, I'll be real here. A men's magazine. She sure knows how to rock that dress. I had a feeling she was gay. Wait. Her hair, her eyes, her lips... She can't be her. And at the same time, she is her, only several years older. And she looks just like... No, come on, Mac. The world is full of pretty blondes. It's just a coincidence. With a shake of my head, I snap out of it and reach out for my phone when it buzzes, nearly falling off my chair in the process. Who else would be on the other line but the very people waiting for me?
Yes, I'm so sorry, Cam. I'm on my way.
That's what I say. Yet I still don't move from my chair, face flushed and heart racing. I could only stare until I can... Okay, let me choke. I could only stare until I can will myself to reply that yes, I'm accepting the assignment. And it takes even more time for me to just close the image, shut down the computer, and leave. Even then, it has already burned its image into my head, no matter how much I wish it would just disappear. It makes me eager for the alcohol and the company. It makes me eager for anything that can help me forget. It's a good thing the nearest pub is just a hop, skip, and jump from here. The Galloway Shawl, as it is called by those who frequent the place, is the only decent Irish pub in this county. You can pretty much tell that someone is new if they call it by its official name, the Crawl Bar. My home away from home ever since I moved to Luxbourne. Well, that is when I'm not cooped up in my condo working anyway. It has good alcohol, good company, and, thank God in St. Celia, good music. Crowd favorites like the Bothy Noise, the High Wesleyan Men, and Second Fusion Orchestra are often played. Not to mention the singing. I love singing. So do I. It's great. I need to get back into my vocal lessons. Frickin' COVID. By that I mean since COVID, I haven't taken them. Not since I never got COVID. I know I could just break out into a drinking song, and others in the pub were just wonderful that they'd start singing along. And doing so while intoxicated is the best of ways to go about it. Hey, it's a win-win as long as I don't puke in the middle of the chorus, and as long as I can get home in one piece at the end of the day. And tonight is karaoke night. What better time than to try and sing all my worries away? That's what my intoxicated brain tells me.
The ghost of guilt and sorrow remembers who I am, and in the prison of my heart, I was my only slave.
But drinking only reminds me of my home, and the thought of home makes me think of her.
But in the depths of my cold soul, I'll leave the burden and
this wouldn't be so bad
despair.
if she had the music going with her to this song in my ear. But in my ear, I'm just hearing the pitch of her voice, and I'm like, okay, it's not that bad, but the pitch is a little bit hard when you don't have any music accompanying it to like, what is with this hair? like work with me, girl. It's not that bad. Just work with me. I have a forehead. It's okay. You don't have to cling to it. We good? Good enough. It makes me nauseous. It sickens me that the smallest reminder of her can cause me such grief. I don't know why I'm giggling.
I'll fight for what's worth fighting for.
Okay, I don't want to listen. I'm sorry. I don't. It's not so much her voice, but it's how it's flowing, and I don't like that. It's annoying me. Of course, that might just be the booze. Any other day, I would have scolded myself for drinking so much.
I lied to the Lord. I lied to myself.
Okay, but I only have a client, and we'll be having our first little meet and greet in a few days.
Cowardice is easier than, 'cause people can lie.
I want to at least enjoy the night, get over the hangover tomorrow, and return to being a prim and proper professional after.
That song was for Cam, our lucky bride-to-be. So give her a hand, Galway shawl.
Let's read the statement. One can excuse my smug grin as cheers and applause rise up among the pub patrons. Because possibly off-key public singing aside, well, it's more like we just lacked music. It would have been a lot better if there had been actual music. You just jumped on stage and forgot to tell them, hey, put this song on. Then you just went for it. feel like I'm not at the top of the world right now. And that's a good reason as any to belt out in front of these strangers. I mean, I've done it. But I'm more of a scream singer, so. Put on some Hailstorm. Let's do this. With good drinks and good friends, there's nowhere else I'd rather be tonight. Here you go, Iris. Have some cotton candy. And I forget for a short while.
And that song was brought to you by Marianne McCullough, everyone! A round of applause!
That was so good. You rock, Marianne.
Oh, that's Hannah's voice actor.
Oh, please stop. You're just saying that.
You know neither of us can hold a tune, Marianne. A toast to our shameless drunk singer. May your drinks forever flow and your notes be ever lovely.
If anyone deserves a toast tonight, that's Cam. Finally sealed the deal after 3 years, eh?
Read 'em and weep, bitches.
Kamala's diamond engagement ring gleams as she holds it up for the world to see. She has reasons to be proud. 3 years of living together, and her boyfriend finally asked her the big question. 3 years doesn't feel like a lot. Obviously, she said yes.
Don't get too attached to that ring or the one after, sweetie. I was wearing a wedding ring not so long ago, and look at where I am. But enough of me being a downer. Cheers to a happy engagement!
Of course, if something like Haruna's divorce were to happen, I'd be there for Cam. Just as Cam had been there for me, acting more than just my yoga instructor. I can't be happier for my friend right now. My nose itches.
Cheers!
Cheers.
Well, we both will be there for Cam, won't we? Haruna and I. Haruna, it's been a real bad year for her ever since her divorce. She's such a nice person, even loaning me money to open a studio, and she didn't deserve what her husband had pulled. I'm happy she's smiling again, peeking out like she used to. I think we've all missed our Japanese firecracker. We met in yoga class, something I had joined to keep myself in shape and, well, honestly, so that I could make friends when I moved to Luxbourne. Clearly it worked like a charm. And it definitely didn't have anything to do with the fact that I brought along my lucky D20 die with me on that first day. No, sir. D20 die. I want to know what this is. What is a D20 die? Is it really just a dice? Or something like, okay. I love these girls so much.
What about you, Marianne? You're 30 years old and you still haven't got yourself a man.
And you guys know I have a very busy schedule. I don't have time for that.
Oh, come on. That's a lame excuse and you know
She's gay.
it.
Leave her be.
You need a man who'll take care of you and you need it now. Maybe some hunk will be your house hubby while you rake in the dough.
I'm quite capable of taking care of myself. Who needs a Mr. Right?
Hey, look at me. I'm Marianne McCullough, a lawful neutral cleric with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in charisma, but I can't get myself a date.
Ah, so it was a D&D thing. All right. I've mentioned druids and demons once. Once. They don't even know the rules or understand what the numbers mean. And I certainly am not some sort of holy person. I am a far cry from a miracle worker, and I barely have the willpower to fight off demons, especially my own.
Actually, maybe she isn't looking for a Mr. Right, but a Mrs. Right. Oh, my Marianne, we still love you even if you're in the closet.
That would explain some things. How do you know you don't have a ring anymore? Maybe you two can be together and I don't have to worry about my best girls being alone.
What are you on about? There's nothing to explain.
But the more than I, the louder they tease until the other people in the pub start to watch. It doesn't help at all when Haruna drapes her arm over my shoulder and
Will I
leans
be
in.
all yours then? Will you be making me feel like a woman?
I know that they're just kidding around, but this doesn't make me comfortable in the slightest. So when Kamala notices my silence and notices the expression on my face, they stop. And when the awkward air settles over us, the rest of the pub goes back to whatever they were doing before the whole thing ever happened. They probably won't even remember, they probably won't even remember it when they wake up with massive hangovers anyway.
Me too.
Hey, no hard feelings, right?
I raise my glass. They smile. We drink. There's no need to say more. We're all definitely far too drunk tonight. Eventually the fun times end. It is the weekday, after all. And with Haruna being a nurse, she still has to get ready for her next shift. Cam also has a loving fiancé waiting for her at home, and Really didn't have to make a fuss about having left some buns in the oven when she took off early. Really, I understand. I was the one who insisted, who was determined to get pissed drunk anyway. Moving to the bar, I sit. Alone at last. Alone with a stranger. I haven't seen him here before. Obviously not a regular. He hasn't said word. He hasn't said word. He hasn't said word. He hasn't said word. He hasn't said a word and just sits there, savoring his drink. With his whiskey served neat in one hand and lighter in the other, it doesn't seem like he's noticed me yet, and maybe I should go before he does look my way. Because he was pretty and he was blonde, and those two things plus alcohol never did me any good. A thought too late. Judging by the way his flushed face and dazed look in his eyes, he is as pissed drunk as I am. Oh no. Oh no, please don't do what I think I'm worried you're gonna do, and then it's gonna like set the tone, and I don't know. But whereas I feel like keeling over, he looks like he's ready to take the catwalk by storm. Really, he just has the air of one of those men who think they own the world.
Hello there, sexy. Please don't stand up on my account. I already like what I see. Fancy a drink? It'll be on me.
But then again, I might be pleasantly surprised if he proves me wrong.
Want some between the sheets? Sex on the beach? I'm talking cocktails, of course.
Fat chance. But it doesn't matter. We both know how to play this game. There are two different ways for the night to end. One thing or another is going to happen. The question is, what do I want to do?
Oh no, that's fine. I'd rather order some blue balls or some AMF if you don't mind.
He looks like he's about to say some witty retort, but stops himself and downs the rest of his whiskey. That's not whiskey. That's a wine. Ma'am, you are drunk. I order a mint julep. He gets another whiskey and we start the customary small talk. Of course, the saying, ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lies, goes without saying. We ask nothing about each other, offering up falsehoods to establish strenuous fake connections between two strangers at a pub if only to pass the time. Whiskey, as I have come to call him, is supposedly 21 years old, single, takes care of his sick mother, and is a manager of some sort. He's a fucking asshole and we all hate him. Manager of what? I didn't care to listen to details. Meanwhile, Mint, as he came to call me, is 29 and I'm, what did I say I was again? Yes, I told him that I was a professional chocolate taster because fuck it. If I'm going to lie about what my job is, I might as well make it fun. It's a pretty decent chat between the two pretty drunk strangers. And maybe it's just me, but we might as fucking well expend the tiniest amount of effort in pretending there's something meaningful in this meeting. Would have been nice too if it was just left at that. But during a lull in conversation, he brings it up.
I've never been with a woman taller than me.
Oh God. And to think he might have been different from the rest.
Never have and never will, whiskey. Can we go back to the history of chocolates? Did you know that chocolate candy was introduced in 19th century England as a healthier alternative to alcohol?
St. Lucy was the most beautiful woman in her time. She had men come from the four corners of the world just to see the pure light of her exquisite green eyes. If she were so lucky, anyway.
No, enough of the history lesson. Come on, Mint. You know and I know what you came here for.
Though not every suitor was gallant, and she was no fool. She had known that sooner or later she wouldn't be able to defend her chastity.
Come on. There must be something that gets you going.
She had taken out a knife and gouged out her own eyes.
There is something, but I don't think you can handle it.
Impressed with her devotion, God restored her eyes and made them more beautiful than before. He has a peculiar sense of humor, hasn't he? Because that only meant suitors kept going after Lucy, and she kept her eyes in a chalice to scare them away.
I'm pretty sure I can handle whatever it is.
St. Lucy, help me. Help me turn away from sin. Help me with my own blindness.
My place isn't too far from here. I won't take care of you if it ends up being too much for you. And no one will be able to hear you if you try to scream. You sure you want to go down that road, pretty boy?
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh. Well, she's not gay. She's just stupid. The best thing about having a condo so close to the pub is the ease of access. As long as I can stand and walk, I can make it home. Maybe I need help from a kind neighbor or two to help me with the last leg if I've really gone overboard on the alcohol. But I always made it home. Sometimes with company. Of course, that always comes with complications, especially with the real clingy ones. But it isn't anything a good tip about stalkers to the okay. But it isn't anything a good tip about stalkers or the bill of security can't fix. I'm always nervous though, even if this isn't the first time I've done this. And the first few minutes when we enter my room are the first agonizing minutes where I try not to panic. Okay, Max, so far so good. Don't let him smell your fear under all that liquid courage. He'll leave sooner or later and you'll never have to see him again, just like every other man before him. I like to say to myself that the men I brought to my place were more scared than I was, yet there's no fear when I look into Whiskey's eyes, only delight. When he starts touching me, I don't even hesitate when I push him against the door. Roughness is to be expected. And as long as he sticks to the script, everything will go smoothly. We'll have our little tumble in the sheets, he'll leave, we'll forget about it. If somebody asked what I really wanted, I would have told them I wanted a bed of roses, chocolates, and music, maybe in an Irish castle. But all I really want is her, and that's never going to be a reality. Okay, so maybe she is gay, just want to covering it up. But she could be bi, I get that, but if she's only getting with men when she's drunk, she also might just not want to admit she's gay. Which did kind of sound like it at the bar. That was my fault, of course, because I was afraid, because I was a coward. They would never hold a candle up to her. She was the light of my life, and I had let her go. I can't even be bothered with the thought of her. Just the single thought of her makes my resolve to see this affair through waver.
Wait.
What is it now?
Yes, what is it now? This is wrong, and I'm... Because he's married?
We're both drunk.
And?
This is wrong. Don't you think it's a bit fucked up that we're about to have sex and we're just calling each other by the drinks that we had? How messed up are we?
Doll, shut up with the ethics and morality talk. It is seriously putting me out of the mood.
If you want to leave now, Whiskey, I understand. I mean, with how smashed you are, it'd probably be best for you to sleep the night unless you want to be mugged. But I won't stop you. And this isn't going to happen.
Good.
Bloody hell.
Cock blocked. Of course, he's annoyed at me for putting off our night of sexual congress. But no means no. And beyond spewing a few profanities under his breath, he surprisingly simmers down soon enough. I was worried for a moment that he might try to force something. Instead, he makes a show of fixing his suit and smoothing down his hair before making himself comfortable on the nearest seat he could find. So that does, though, confirm that likely he did have an affair with Hana's best friend and got her pregnant. What a douche.
What are you doing then? You have a guest in your home. Put the damn kettle on. Dandelion tea if you have it. But I suppose all you have are those shitty tea bags from the store.
If it isn't for the absurdity of his turn of events, I would have flipped him off for thinking I have no taste. But in the end, I just laugh. All I got are cans of Korean ginseng and lemon balm, though. No dandelion. Without a second thought, I do wet the tea. That's 3 minutes to get the kettle to a boil. 3 minutes where we say nothing to each other. I mean, what do you even say to the guy I was going to sleep with until I changed my mind? I doubt he's in the mood to talk about the influence of Troy's on Mallory. It's still unusual, but the time we're both seated on my bed with a mug of tea in hand.
Just so you know, whatever is going on right now is a lot stranger and fucked up than the one night stand.
We are two messed up individuals by your logic.
Everything is messed up, if you ask me. War, terrorism, famine, poverty, loved ones and love lost. Oh.
Why does the green cotton candy show better with my chroma screen than the blue? That is a question I now must ask.
This whole world is a cesspool.
I know, I'm not I'm not trying to look sexy when I eat. The dead air is telling me when it fills the room once more. One would think that this is the perfect time to burst, to spill about whatever issues that made us the fucked up person that we are today. And it is. But I guess some part of me would rather not put the weight of my problems on somebody else's shoulder. It wouldn't be fair to leave that to a person when I didn't even know if we'll ever see each other again. Sooner rather than later, we both passed out on my bed, mugs left forgotten on the floor. When I wake, Whiskey is already gone. Mazian. Marianne. Federal painkillers and on the table are the only evidence that I was alone last night. I don't even question where these are from and just know, or just how he knew my real name. It looks like Mazian. I'm just grateful for something to help with the hangover. Might as well. I have a job to do.